Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. Let's get started. So today's subject, I figured we should talk about the SEC going after a lot of people, but they kind of, sort of, maybe might have some good reason for that.
I could babble for the next 30 minutes about that mess.
Well, you could just do a psychological profile of FOMOers, which I'm sure you're building one. I've seen you lurking in a number of places now. Paying attention to people making good and bad decisions. I'd like to hear your take on things. Not one specific coin, but maybe all of them and how people respond.
I find it shocking more than anything else that people tolerate what they tolerate, especially when it comes to the money part of it. There are people who, in several recent cases, have in the flash lost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And after a quick smooth over by whatever mod happens to be laying around, they roll over and go, okay.
You need to give me a reference of what you're talking about here.
Well, I've been following lately. Apparently, we found this out last minute, that our friends over at Aquagoat have decided to launch a new token. They're leaving that dead contract that they were in, and they today, as a matter of fact, are launching what they're calling version 2 of Aquagoat. And it was kind of a mess from the get-go on that. They kept alluding to it with these cryptic tweets, and nothing was updated on their webpage. The Discord kept saying, a change is coming, a change is coming. I can't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday. There was all kinds of other stuff going on with Coinbase, and I mean, that's a whole nother mess. But they decided that they were doing this, what they're terming a migration, taking people's version 1 tokens and converting them into version 2 tokens. And the way that they decided to do that is to have people send whatever tokens they had to the Aquagoat marketing address. And then they would dole out the V2 tokens. It sounded like the ultimate scam from the surface, because you're told from minute one, never, ever, ever send your tokens expecting different tokens back. And so all these people started doing it. I would estimate probably a good 300 or 400 people. And in the process of this, after Wednesday or Thursday, whenever it was they started this, they shut down the old Discord and put a link in the old Aquagoat Discord saying, join the new Discord. Website still hadn't been updated. A lot of information was missing. People are just sending tokens. And in reading Twitter and in reading the Discord, it was painfully and incredulously noticed by me that most people that were in this token don't know much about crypto. They were asking for instructions on how to send tokens. They were asking for instructions on how to work their Trust Wallet or their MetaMask. They had no clue whatsoever. And details were slow to come out, of course, because it was so last minute. And then the realization started to sink in, because as soon as that was announced, of course, the V1 token price dropped like a rock. And the Aquagoat team came out and said, don't worry, we got your back. We're giving you, when we return your V2 tokens on Saturday, you're going to get a 10% bonus for migrating early before launch on Saturday. Well, that seemed to calm some nerves. Then it was discovered by almost by accident, it appears, with what happened in Discord, that it was determined that it wasn't a 1-for-1 token switch. It wasn't a 100-to-1 split. What it was they were going to give you the exact dollar value of the new token as to whatever you sent when you sent your tokens to the marketing wallet. And of course, this was already after the token had completely dumped. So that turned into a nightmare pretty quickly. So there were a lot of people that were confused, upset, angry. It's still going on. And just by looking around, the old Discord had, I believe, 9,600 people in it. And the new Discord has 378 people in it. So that tells me that a lot of people still don't even know this is happening. There are people popping into it now saying, hey, I just heard something's going on. Can somebody share what's going on? It was a failure of epic proportions and continues to get worse by the minute.
All right, let me jump in here, because you're beating on them pretty hard, and you know, we did interview them in the past, and we got an idea of what their goals were, and what, you know, their passion for the project and so on. Could it be that they're just new to this, and while they mean well, you know, these things are just inevitable? Should there be, you know, I'd started this podcast talking about, you know, the SEC clamping down. Is this a situation where the SEC should get all up in their grill? In this case with Aquagoat, I think they're outside of the United States, so it may not matter for them. What does this all mean for coins going forward? Because there's got to be some sort of policing of, you know, bad actors and messed up practices. I get the sense from what you're telling me, and I haven't been paying attention to it as much as you are, that perhaps this might be very bungled or manhandled, or maybe just, you know, bad marketing.
What they stated to me in Discord when I pushed on that button was that the decision had to be made very quickly, because a partnership they were about to enter into required them to be on V2. And apparently it was a very large partnership. So essentially they had a decision to make. And you can view it however you want to view it. I kind of, as you know from previous podcasts, I kind of say it how it is. They had a choice of accepting that and moving forward with that partner right then and there, and the community would take the ramifications, Or the other choice would have been standing up for their community and having the partner take the ramifications. And I think we can clearly see which direction they went.
Well,
now, is that illegal? No. Were they the contract owner of the original token? No. They were the marketing team that grabbed a hold of a dead token that somebody else had created and then locked, and they tried to do something very positive with it. And I don't want to minimize that. As you mentioned, their hearts are in the right places. And I told them that. I said, I know your hearts are in the right places. However, I think it was a mistake the way that this migration to another token was handled.
Do you think that they can come back from this? Or do you think that this is going to persist for a long time? Because if most people don't know about this, I can't assume that this will go away.
Well, that is a really good question, because we've seen in other communities that the tension and the animosity can go away fairly quickly. Personally, I would have done it differently. I would have rebranded Aquagoat completely anyway. I would have called it something like version 2 for me. I would have launched it as like Aquatics or something like that, and totally disassociated myself with the Aquagoat name and the trail of carnage that they're going to leave behind on this. I don't think it was malicious. I don't think it was planned out to have the effects that it did. However, it did. And it will continue to. And I think the community will not recover quickly from what's going on.
Okay. So I think this coin provides a lesson, and I wanted to just kind of throw it up here just as an example of other coins that the SEC goes after. How many other coins do you think are doing this?
I would imagine quite a few. Well, see, I there's what, almost 12,000 tokens out there right now. I wouldn't even feel comfortable hazarding a guess, but I would imagine it's more than just a handful. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think a lot of them are maliciously or intentionally doing anything like that. But I think it's the lack of knowledge, even on these inexperienced teams. The last point I want to make on this, something I told them last night in Discord. They had put out an announcement late last night about a top token holder who they wanted this token holder from the V1. He had like 1.7 trillion tokens. Large whale in the space. They wanted that person to come forward and talk with the team before launch because he had submitted those tokens for conversion. So they used in that announcement the word, the phrase is, this could harm our investors. This could change the investment philosophy. And I was cringing all the way through this announcement, and I put up in the Discord, you may want to rephrase and lose the word investment, because that's what regulators and other people are going to be looking for. And if you're calling this an investment, it's quite possible that it could be looked at by the SEC and then you lose everything. The inexperience of even these teams that are trying to do good things is causing a lot of problems in this space right now.
Seems like almost their attempt to regulate.
Well, they didn't want that person. They see, now that brings up morality, and I don't even know that deep into the laws, but this whale had sent that 1.7 trillion in to be converted into what they're calling the airdrop, and basically sending the V2 tokens back to that person today. They were going to reject it and send it back to that person if they didn't agree to not just dump it immediately upon launch. So they were playing a game of cat and mouse with each other. And so I don't know, in the securities world, the law on basically each of them trying to extort the other one. I don't know how that works.
This is why people actually abandon coins, where you see a new promising coin come out and they want to do a lot of good things and they start working on it. And for some reason or another, things fall apart. And then they just walk away from the coin and they start up a new one. And you're left with a bunch of coin holders or bag holders, people holding the bag, trying to determine cents from everything. And sometimes somebody will come along and pick up a coin and use it for something, but generally not. If a coin is not maintained in any way, then it gets abandoned and it becomes effectively a rug pull. It sounds like this fits the definition of a rug pull. It's just a messy rug pull, or maybe a tablecloth pull that wasn't executed very well.
Well, again, you have different kinds of rug pulls. This one was not an intentional rug pull, but it turned out being, in essence, like you say, a rug pull. Yes, because immediately on that announcement, the token dropped like 90%. So everybody's standing there with these huge bags of tokens that is essentially worthless at this point. So then when they try again, they try and do the right thing by saying, hey, we're going to convert you into V2 with what you have. They're converting on dollar value, which is 90% losses. So that's really not the right way to approach it either. So the new token dropped in total available tokens by 100x. So they lopped off 2 zeros. There's, I think, 1 quintillion instead of 100 quintillion for V2. And they tweaked the penalties that come out. They have a couple coming out, 1% for charity, 4% goes to all the other token holders, and 5% goes to liquidity to keep the token moving on PancakeSwap and these other places. So they tweaked it a little bit. I flipped through the code last night when they released the contract, and it appears the only thing that stood out to me, I wouldn't call it a red flag, but I would call it an area of concern. There's a set of parameters in there where they can program what wallets are able to be excluded from, they call them reflections, from those fees. And the owner of the contract, meaning the Aquagoat team, can determine whatever wallets they want to be excluded. And obviously that's an area, if they're not forthcoming about what that is, that could cause some issues. But this is developing as we go. So, we probably should move on, and we can always revisit and let people know what's going on. I think just letting people know, because I know some people here might have listened to that original series we did with Aquagoat. if you have Aquagoat tokens, you may want to have a look at your wallet, and you may want to determine whether or not you want to stay in that project. And if so, you will need new tokens in order to do so. It's when the people who are developing these projects may not be very versed in what is an investment, what is not an investment, what is a security, what is not a security. And then you couple that with the vague, purposely vague definitions of what those things are from the SEC and from the entities that regulate this.
Yeah, boy,
You
it'd be nice
combine that,
it'd be
and
nice if
it's a
regulators
mess.
actually were clear. It'd be
Well,
nice if regulators. Sorry, I'm trying to get this out. It
Go
would be
ahead.
nice. It would be nice if regulators were actually clear. You know, when you say you're in a park and you go to say you're near near a public building or something, and you go to park a car, and maybe you go and you see a cop nearby, and you say, "Hey, is it okay to park here?" And the cop ignores you. Is it should you park there or not? Or better yet, if you say to the cop, "Is it okay to park here?" and they go, "I don't know," or "We haven't made a determination on whether you can park here," and then later you return, you know, you go about your way, and you return and you find that your car has been towed away, you know, and then you find out later that, oh yes, it was determined that you should not have parked here. How the hell are you supposed to go about things? You know, and maybe I shouldn't have used parking. Maybe I should have used, may I drive down this road? Because all these crypto projects out there are opening up new roads and new avenues of doing things. And that's innovation. That's innovation makes money, and it makes the United States of America successful. And if you're driving down roads that you think are okay, and then all of a sudden some cops come along and block off the road and make it so only a pedestrian can walk through, that seriously squelches innovation. I brought up Aquagoat because they had a angle on coins that I hadn't seen before, which was charity, about actually taking part of every transaction and using it for charity. I think that could work really well. However, not when handled like that. So, you know, what bothers me about American regulation of coins is our really sloppy, it seems to me very sloppy execution, and almost sophomoric. I don't know if you're following the XRP, the SEC versus XRP case, SEC versus Ripple case, but the SEC is going to the mat on every single thing they can to stop Ripple from doing something. Yet when they are asked why on anything, even in the court case up till now, September 11th, 2021, they hedge on why it's illegal. They just simply state that it is. And, you know, court cases are about digging into the law and finding out, okay, tell me what's illegal and why it's illegal and so on. They can't even prove that. And now they're being forced to admit things like, oh, we've never told anybody it was illegal. We've never told anybody XRP was a security, and so on. I think they're going to lose that case. So the same thing that I see with Aquagoat in their coin, to where some things are kind of messed up, I see with the SEC. How can they expect to actually encourage innovation by doing this slapdash, weirdo, sloppy enforcement?
That's what they have to work with. I think they underestimated the fact that crypto would become as big as it was so quickly. They're used to running things at a very slow pace and controlling how these things are done. And all of a sudden, there are what they're estimating to be 14% of Americans now who own at least one type of crypto. And it's growing rapidly, almost exponentially. as more and more people discover how cool this space really is and what can be done with it, and that there's utilities that go along with it. It's not just buying magic internet money anymore. So it took the SEC and other regulating bodies, I think, back on their heels, and now they're scrambling to try and just regain some type of a semblance and control over the space.
I think we're going to draw this one to a close. Good talking to you today, as always, Mr. Titan.
Dittos.